This is just to give you a little bit more guidance of the next stage of the work that you're doing with the GIS. We did go over this in our last video conference class anyway, but just to give you a little bit of a reminder. Last time you set the broader context of this in terms of looking at North Norfolk in the UK context as a whole. The DME will very often ask you to set the specific area that you're looking at in the national context. Then we had a wee look at how you need to protect the environment, because as part of the shoreline management plan, environmental impact assessment needs to be considered. You're moving on today and this week to be taking a look at a couple of examples of erosion, and then stepping out and taking a look at two broader issues here of land use and population density, and that's going to come in that section on the economic impact, or the I'll get this right, cost benefit analysis, where you look at the value of what is being protected versus the cost of protecting it, that kind of thing. So let me give you a few tips on this one. We'll just keep these instructions handy, keep referring back to them as we go through. We're going first of all to take a look at Haysborough here. So if I zoom in to Haysborough, and I'm going to just turn off this erosion risk because we don't need this at the moment. I'll toggle this on and off because what you can see here is that there's actually a map in here which is an historic map from 1885 to 1903. Now the reason why that is there is because it's going to give you a sense of where the coastline used to be. In fact, I can, if I want, change the transparency. I've set that at about 75. But if we take this back here, you'll see where the high tide mark was and the low tide mark was. There was the beach there before, and there is the lighthouse. Now, if I take this back down to 75% here, you're seeing the amount that has been lost. So your tasks here really are just to go through and do some measuring here. To work out the rate of erosion. Now, to work out the rate, you will need distance. Boom, there we go, distance, and I'll not do it for you, but take that in, you know how to do the distance and time. So you can work out then the rate and do a few of those measurements and get a sense of the average rate there during the week, during that time. Then we're going to go to an area called Strand. So again, you can go to the bookmark for this one. We've come just up here a little bit to the northwest. You can zoom out and see where you are in relation to this. There's Cromer. So Side Strand is quite close to Cromer, just to the southeast of Cromer. So go back to the bookmark to get that centered for me. Now, you have a little bit more work to do with this one, just going through here. You're going to be looking at the measure tool, the loss since 1900 again. But this time I want you to be looking here at the aspect of cultural heritage that has been lost due to erosion. So you're going to have to zoom in a little bit closer there. And again, if you want to change the transparency of that, sweep that back down again. Right, so one of the things you need to do as a shoreline management plan is to look at the impact on cultural heritage that could be lost. There's a wee link that'll help you to answer that question. A little bit more about the erosion rates and things like this. And then you're going to turn off all the layers and change the base map. So let's do that. Boom, and that, and that. And then you change the base map like so to imagery. Okay, now this is more like Google Earth, that kind of thing. So you're going to have to go and have a little bit of a look there. So you're going to have to find out where the church is now. It's been moved inland. Measure the distance. A bit of an erosion rate here, so there's tips for you to do that. So there's a little bit of work in that. There's a little bit of investigative work. You're going to have to hunt around a wee bit, but that's how you go about doing it. The last couple of sections are pretty straightforward. I would change the base map back again to that light grey canvas, so it's a nice neutral one. And let's come out to just take the overview of North Norfolk, something like that. And for this one, you are turning on the historic mapping layer and the Corrine land use layer. So we'll turn those back on. Corrine land use and that one. And it'll take a moment just to draw down that land use. And it should come here. I'll just come back here and let that draw it down. So you have got to then describe the land use patterns around the coastline, the balance between the different land uses, especially between the urban areas And farming. Now, farming you may think has less of an economic impact if you lose that land than would be for urban areas, but don't forget this. Right, don't forget this. So there you go, that's drawn that in. And if you want to again set the transparency for that one, you can do so if you want to see a wee bit more of the map coming through. Up to you, whatever you do with that one. But you're zooming in, the reds are the urban areas and the yellows there are agricultural land, that kind of thing. And then finally your population along North Norfolk, and it is the layer 4. I'll just turn that one off, bring this around here. It's population density. And the legend there's for you. It's quite a simple one. The yellows and the oranges and the reds are high, everything else is low. So again, the population density. So between land use and population density, you will get a sense here of just what kind of area this is, and this is more for your cost benefit analysis. So how intensively used, how many locations do you have like Cromer here versus places more like Haysborough, that kind of thing. Okay, so hopefully that gives you some more tips and clues as to what you've got to do with the map this week.